name's Jabran Chaudhry. I'm 25 years old and I'm a Muslim in Sydney. I think of myself more as a more open-minded Muslim, I think, partly because of my experience from overseas and then coming here. And I kind of go out of my way when I can to understand the religion, especially after a lot of this stuff in Syria and all that, with all the negative media attention. So what I've tried to do is try to understand where that's coming from and learn more about my own religion and follow it as properly as I can. I think the general stereotype is how Muslims are all put into this one category, one massive category. It's like, oh, you're a Muslim, so you must be like Arab, have a beard. Like I do have stubble barely, but it's just, you all clump together. So when something happens, you have to suddenly start apologizing, or you feeling like you have to apologize. Whereas, if some kid does something stupid, does his religion have to suddenly, I obviously understand the whole political and current climate of the world and all that. But I just don't think that that's how it should be, though. You have all these young Muslims that will integrate perfectly fine in Australian society because they've been born here. That's where they've been raised. But they have trouble relating the two identities together. So that it becomes expounded by the fact that your parents will think a certain way, will act a certain way, and they don't understand Australian society to the extent that you would want to. The metaphor was just like, oh, look, if someone tells you, oh, you and her are perfect together, and they start telling you about, oh, how perfect you are together, then inevitably you start thinking, oh yeah, we'll be perfect together. Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense, but the metaphor was trying to allude to the fact that, if people start telling you that, oh, you're different, and all you hear continuously is how you're different, and how you can never make friends with Muslims or non-Muslims, they can't be friends, then inevitably you start thinking that way. And younger children who are still, growing up, making their own kind of identity, I think that's very, very bad for that. Like they growing up, they're getting into their teens when they're trying to figure everything out, and you throw this into the mix. It just confuses the hell out of them. When all this crazy stuff happens in Sydney, which you don't expect to happen in Sydney, it's more shocking, I think, as a Muslim. It's very different to how Australia was before, whereas Australia's always, to me, been very chill, very, if you don't bug me, I'm not going to bug you type thing. That mentality I can see is starting to change, and that is not what I would want for my own country. Yeah.